Hi, I'm dgerard and this is Pivot to AI. Today, what happens when the nuts and bolts get sloppy? rsync. You've never heard of it, but people like me have. It's a small program for copying entire file folders from one computer to another, and it does small updates if there's only a few changes. You can keep a continuous backup copy. That sounds simple, but doing the job properly is quite hard. rsync is super reliable for this job. Until recently. On May 28th, Jeremiah Fieldhaven posted about how his computer backup system broke after rsync updated. Quote, "So my system's recently updated to rsync 3.4.3, and as soon as that happened, my backup system started to fail on anything but a full backup. Revert to 3.4.1 and it works. So I go look at the source in GitHub to see what might have changed, because there doesn't seem to be anything relevant in the changelog. Since 3.4.1, 36 commits by Tridge and Claude." Unquote. A pile of the infrastructure that everything runs on relies on rsync to work and keep working. That's a problem when rsync breaks one day. And that just happens to be after a massive burst of vibe coding. rsync is basically finished. It's not yearning for new features. But Claude Mythos set off a flood of security mall ninjas pointing chatbots at open source code looking for security holes and sending the projects a ton of noise and garbage. So some maintainers are fighting AI with AI. The trouble is that vibe code is unreliable trash, and rsync users are seeing the consequences. The discussions mostly played out on Mastodon. I joke that Mastodon's the social network for Linux nerds, but it is. A lot of the people who build the systems everything runs on post there. There's a re-implementation of rsync called OpenRSync from the OpenBSD project. The Alpine Linux distribution is packaging OpenRSync, and it's looking into replacing the main rsync with OpenRSync. Alpine is the system most Docker images run on. It's pretty load-bearing itself. Vibe coding at all is a huge red flag for Alpine. Quote, "Yes, this is because our entire infrastructure is built on rsync, which is now being vibe coded, and that seems like a problem." Unquote. The Debian project, which Ubuntu and Linux Mint are based on, is also discussing sticking at a pre-vibe code version of rsync. rsync maintainer Andrew Tridge has responded on the rsync vibe code issue. A lot of his blog post is cut and paste AI convert stuff. Software's changed in the past few months. He even includes one of these. Quote, "Also, nobody actually knows if human intelligence is just finer-grained stochastic prediction as well." Unquote. Yeah, we do know it isn't. Humans aren't large language models. Claiming humans might be just chatbots is a standard trope of people who got one-shotted and want to justify it. Tridge got a lot of pretty horrible rage posts, as he puts it. Hacker News in particular was unhinged, and he really does not deserve that. But also, he's subtweeting posts from Linux distro maintainers who stated they can't trust rsync anymore, so they're moving off it to OpenRSync, and a long thread on the new vibe-coded testing framework as, quote, "foaming at the mouth accusations against me," unquote. Come on now. Tridge has the right to run the rsync project his way, and nobody can tell him not to. But also, other people do have the right to say, "This broke our stuff. It'll keep breaking our stuff as long as it's vibe slop now, and we're moving, and everything about this sucks, because you don't get to break the infrastructure and not get called out on it. Tridge is retired, but he feels an obligation to continue with rsync. Quote, "I'd rather be out sailing than working on rsync security issues." Unquote. Tridge handed off the rsync project to someone else 20 years ago, and he took it back in 2024. But the answer to finding yourself being load-bearing is not to start using AI code with AI tests. The great man theory of open source development, where it all hinges on one guy, has always been a fatal flaw. It happens because the companies benefiting from the software just will not pay the individual guys who let their company work. So the companies try to make the guys feel obligated to do work for them for free. Those guys have to start saying no. Go sailing. Declare the project closed and see if the beneficiaries will finally contribute. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. But no company will put in the developers or the money for this stuff to be done until you say no. Thanks for tuning in to Pivot to AI. This is the last episode for a week and a half because I'm moving house from London to Glasgow. We'll be back on Monday, June 15th. Amy Caster might write something on the blog in that time. No promises, but follow the blog too. Don't forget to tell everyone you know about this episode of Pivot to AI and your past favourite episodes. There's a link in the show notes to the complete playlist if you're missing the show. Thank you all. I couldn't do this without all of you. I'll see you Monday week, and bye for now.